Sorry. So as you begin your job search, you want to fill out a resume. If you do not already have one, you will need one for next quarter when you're filling out your portfolios. That is something that has to go into it. So typically you only need to go back about 10 years. You might want to get some help with the career services at Beckfield College. They can help you with a resume. Oftentimes the librarian will do the same thing. So you're going to want to look for a job when you begin your job search. A lot of times there are websites you can look at, Indeed, Career Builder, Monster, to name a few. There's also newspaper ads. We have a lot of employment services on campus. So outside of room 112 where we hold class, there's some job boards there with a lot of open positions. So what are things that employers look for? Are you employable? Are you dependable? Are you well groomed? So if you've not bathed or brushed your hair or brushed your teeth, you may not find gainful employment. If your clothing is not clean, if it's wrinkled, that kind of sets a not positive example to employers. Typically, if you're coming to an interview, don't wear scrubs. Wear something that you're going to wear to church, maybe to court. Dress up. Don't wear jeans. Don't wear open-toed shoes. I would avoid high heels. Just wear something modest. Men, you wear even a dress shirt, slacks, and a belt. Have it tucked in. Just be well groomed. Don't put too much makeup on. Definitely try to avoid the cologne or perfumes. If you are overpowering somebody in an interview, they're probably going to take that as it's going to overpower patients with respiratory illnesses. Make sure that you seek the appropriate job skills and training. I'm sorry, I'm about to be interrupted again. Sorry. Okay, so job skills and training. With this program, you need to complete STNA. This is your STNA course. There is a clinical component that you'll have next quarter. So you will be in long-term care for next quarter. Once you complete your clinical component to this, even though the class is finished, you can come back to one of your coordinators. So if you're in the PN program, that's me. If you're in the RN, the ADN or BSN program, that would be Laura Ryder. If you want to bypass us, you can also message Melissa Juice. Just shoot her an email, either one of us, and say, hey, listen, I want to sit for my STNA certification. So we have to provide documentation that you've taken the course, you've passed the course, and you've completed your clinical requirement. And then we send that information to where you test, and then they'll get in contact with you. You pay the fee, and then you can become state certified. I don't want to deter you if that is your goal. Some facilities will hire nursing students if you're in a nursing program and you've had your first clinical. Now, the clinical that is in conjunction with this course that you will get next quarter may fall into that category. So you can be hired as a tech versus a CNA. Now, the pay scale might be different, but I just want to throw that out there. So when you're filling out your job application, fill it out completely and concisely. Write it neat. If you have to scribble it out, get a new application. Don't turn anything in scribbled. Avoid whiteout. So if you make a mistake, just get a new application. The beauty of most facilities is a lot of things are online. And if you make a mistake, you can correct that. Have a good resume. So be very concise when you're filling out your resume. So your resume is a summary of your personal information. This includes your contact information, your address, phone number, and how to get in touch with you if they want to offer a job or an interview. My troops are, I'm sorry. Thank you for your patience. So, a cover letter. When you're filling out your resume, it is a good idea to have a cover letter. The cover letter is just a brief summary of why you're interested in that particular place of employment, and then why you're going to stand out, and then oftentimes you can place your salary requirement in there. So let's say you're offered an interview. So what do you do to prep? I am suggesting do a little bit of research about the company before you go in. Kind of know what to expect. You can get a general idea of what their pay scales are. Find out the mission of the facility. Is it something aligned with your own personal ethics? Just have a genuine interest in the job. Ask questions, because if you go into the interview and you're not asking questions, they might get the impression that you're not really interested, and they may not offer you the job. So you want to ask things about what is my work requirement? Do I have to work every other weekend, every other holiday? What is that expectation? What's my pay scale? What's the benefits look like? Are you going to be flexible with me being a student? Maybe you have other obligations. Find out about that. Ask about point system. What is the point system if I have an emergency and have to call off? How flexible are you with that? Just little things about the job. Maybe even look up the history of the facility. Just become more aware. That way when you go in, you can ask questions and you feel a little bit more comfortable versus not knowing anything about the facility. So during the interview, greet the interviewer. Shake their hand with a good firm grip. Don't be little puny little, oh, hi, how you doing? That actually leaves a terrible impression. If you're giving a handshake, look them straight in the air. Be a nice firm grip. That's going to stand out to the individual, okay? I don't care if you're male, female, or what. Have a nice firm handshake. That lets the person know that you have a genuine interest. And it makes an impression. If you have that little puny thing, I can't tell you how many times I've shaken somebody's hand and it's been, oh, I feel like, oh, really? Okay. So interviewers, they're already forming an opinion of you, and it might even begin with that handshake. Now, I'm not saying squeeze their hand to pieces, but a nice firm shake, not a little puny, oh, hey, okay? I just want to throw that out there. So, you can expect an interview to last anywhere between 15 to 40 minutes or so. You want to make sure you find the right job for you. If it's not something that you're excited about going into work each day, you're not going to be a good employee. Maybe it's not a good fit for you. So maybe you have to work every weekend. Some parents, that's going to be impossible with kids with sports, especially if you're a single parent. If you have a medically fragile child, make sure you mention to them that, we have a ton of appointments that we have to do. Are you going to be flexible with that? I have other obligations outside of my work life. Are you going to be flexible to that? There's some people that, some jobs just are not a good fit for you. So you want to dress appropriately. So be modest. Make sure you're well groomed. Don't go overboard with the makeup or perfume, as I'd stated. Make sure you're brushing your hair. Once you're offered a position, accept it within a reasonable time frame. Don't wait a week and say, oh, well, I'll get back to it later. If they're offering you a job shadowing experience, chances are they're going to offer you the position, but they want to know that you fully understand what your expectation may be. So they might say, oh, can you come back sometime this week and shadow one of our staff members? By golly, do everything in your power to complete that within the first week. That way they can know that you're truly interested in the position. Make sure you're attending the new employee orientation. That you're going to get a lot of information about the company. When you're preparing to work, make sure you're working out your work schedule with what you can and cannot do with school. Make sure you're staying the entire shift. Make sure you understand when your lunch breaks are, when your breaks are. Arrange for childcare. If you need someone to pick up your children, make sure you're arranging all of that. Make sure you have appropriate transportation. Make sure you know where to go. Make sure you know where to enter and to clock in. If a position is not working out to the best of your abilities, make sure you give the appropriate time to resign from a position. Some facilities it is 2 weeks. There are some facilities they require 4, or they may not pay you for the last 2 weeks you work. So common reasons for losing a job: poor attendance, hands down, number 1. Abandonment. So that doesn't necessarily mean you're abandoning the position. It just might mean that I'm not showing up to my work when I'm supposed to. Falsifying a record. So if I don't disclose everything in my background when I put that on my application, that could be grounds for termination. Be mindful of that. If you're destroying the center's or person's property, that is grounds for dismissal. Showing disrespect to residents, families, and visitors, co-workers, having offensive language or speech, stealing a center's or person's property, taking a person's drugs as your own and giving it to others, harassment, using and distributing alcohol in the work setting, using and distributing drugs in the work setting, having weapons in the work setting such as guns, knives, explosives, or other dangerous items, violent behavior in a work record, abusing or neglecting a person, invading a person's privacy, HIPAA violations, failing to maintain a resident, family, center, or coworker confidentiality. This includes access to the computer system or electronic health record. Defamation, that's in Chapter 3. Abusing meal breaks and break periods, leaving the facility to go smoke, violating a center's dress code. Now, many of you have violated Beckfield College's dress code by coming in not in uniform, whether it be for a nursing class, a lab, or what have you. You have to make sure you're abiding by the policy. Or if you are attending to personal matters while on duty, you may lose your job. Now, this could be an exciting time for you, but I just want you to be mindful of things that you could do to lose that position that you've earned. Don't take this lightly, and I wish you the best in all of your endeavors. In the future, if there's anything that I may help you with, please reach out to me. If I have the answer, I'll be happy to share it. If I do not, I'll be happy to find it for you. I am kind of sad that I won't see you face to face, but just know that it's been a pleasure instructing you over this quarter. I'm sorry we've kind of had to end things on this note. Yeah, I'm kind of bummed about that. So, things you can expect for the final. The time is going to be 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. You are given 1 minute per question plus an additional 5 minutes. So for the 100 question exam, you're going to be given 105 minutes. Now, this does not mean you're going to be able to look up every answer. You're going to need to study ahead of time. I have given out every question in week 8. Your objective was to find the answers and study those. So you've been given all the material. You should have studied greatly before now. What else can I say? You're going to have to send me a remind message, typically starting around 8 a.m. Monday, March 23rd. The exam will be open at 9 a.m. Once I get your attendance, I will reply to you what the password is for the final. So you still need a password to enter it. But other than that, everything is loaded. And I appreciate you guys for coming to class and working diligently and learning and being a terrific group of students. And I wish you the best in your future endeavor at Beckfield College in the future. And I look forward to seeing you cross the stage as you begin your career. Thank you and be blessed. Take care.